I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into AEW Dynamite from May the 6th, 2026. This was a very boring and bland show. This show, in my opinion, wasn't even worth watching. And I barely watched a lot of matches on this show. I really didn't even watch most of these matches. I was kind of really, on my phone or on my laptop looking at stuff. Just not a good show. I was also eating during some of these matches as well. And this show really wasn't even worth talking about, if you ask me. And that's not good, because Double or Nothing is in about 2.5 weeks. That's one of their bigger pay-per-views of the year. And it's like they don't care. And I have no idea what Tony Khan's doing. You would figure that there would at least be a good maybe 4 or 5 matches already, announced for the show. I think as of right now, we only have like 2 or maybe even 3 matches announced. And that's not good. And we only have like 2 weeks to, build stuff. That's not good. That's really not good at all. I mean, Double or Nothing is one of their bigger pay-per-views, right? It's one of their big 4, if you will, in my opinion, right? And I don't know what the hell Tony Khan's doing. But it is what it is, man. So let's go ahead and get into the show. So we kick the show off with a beautiful tribute to Ted Turner. That was beautiful. So, Tony Schiavone, he stood mid-ring and acknowledged the death of Ted Turner. He described his influence on pro wrestling. Tony Schiavone said that Ted Turner brought pro wrestling prominence as destination viewing. He said, through current leadership of Tony Khan and AEW and the leadership of Warner Discovery, pro wrestling survives. He said, Ted Turner loved wrestling and the fans. We're all here today because of him. He said, one man that knows that more than anyone else, he said in 1987, that man arrived at the studios of TBS and he became a part of the identity of what pro wrestling means to TBS. And that man was Sting. So Sting showed up. The crowd went wild, as per usual. Tony Schiavone said they knew Turner well, and he's a big reason why they got to know each other. Sting said, can you imagine having an all-in billionaire who absolutely loved pro wrestling? He was talking about Big Ted. He said he can't believe what he did for them, and he touted how committed to them he was. He said some top brass pushed Turner to move away from pro wrestling, but he stayed committed, which that is true. Sting said that he told wrestlers to keep doing what they're doing because he had deep pockets. That's a shoot. That's exactly what he said, Sting said. He said there wouldn't be a Darby Allin, and and the fans wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for him. So then Tony Schiavone brought up that Darby Allin will be defending the AEW World title to the Turner Warner Network Television champion Kevin Knight, and said that's an appropriate main event on a night like this, paying tribute to Ted Turner. He said, thankfully, he's thankful and grateful for a second all-in billionaire who wants to keep the ball rolling with AEW, that being Tony Khan. So he thanked Tony Khan, that being Sting. Tony Schiavone said their thoughts go out to the lives Ted Turner touched and the sympathies for his family and friends. And then they did a beautiful 10-bell salute, which was great. So this was great. I love this. Excellent stuff here. Good stuff here. Ted Turner was the man. He will be truly missed. And Ted Turner really did love pro wrestling. He truly did. He loved pro wrestling, right? He loved it. And he will definitely be missed. And I'm pretty sure that WWE and TNA will definitely pay their respects to him as well. And he lived to be 87, so he lived a long life. That was a blessing. So Ted Turner would definitely be missed. Rest in peace, rest in paradise, rest in power. We send our condolences, thoughts, and prayers and sympathies to his friends and family at this time. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Ted. So that was a really good way to kick off the show there. All right, moving on from that, then we get the Dynamite opening theme. This leads us into the first match of the night, and I wanted to just gouge my eyes out. Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. I didn't watch this match at all. It was a contender match. An eliminator match for the Continental Championship. Who won this shit? Jon Moxley. I don't care about this shit at all. I don't. This is a joke. All right? I saw the finish. That's all I saw of this match. I don't care. I think Jay White's still injured, so he's been gone for a minute. I don't know, man. I really don't. This shit sucks. Moving on. This leads us into the Death Riders. So, they showed the Death Riders putting Will Ospreay through a workout in a back hall area. Jon Moxley said, if they don't get his neck right and his mind right, it's over for Will Ospreay. Jon Moxley said he could still have a career in AEW and hang out and get paid like the rest of these posers. He said he's not like all these people, though. Jon Moxley said he's different, and it's a privilege to get that high on the mountain, but the last percent is the hardest. He called it death ground. Jon Moxley said it's hard, but nothing exists but what's in front of him right now. Will Ospreay sat up and looked at the camera and then laid back down. So Marina Shafir put a towel behind his head and neck to apparently adjust him in a adjustment. Okay, whatever. This is fine, I guess. Again, is he joining the Death Riders? Probably not. Again, this is probably going to be Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt. You know, what they did back in 2013, I believe that happened. 2013 or 2014 when that happened. So, yeah, you know, there's that. Because I do expect there to be another match between Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay, right? You can't convince me otherwise. Both guys are basically mortal enemies of each other, and you know how that shit plays out. Moving on from that, oh boy, another match I didn't watch and I didn't care about. That being Orange Cassidy versus Dax Hardwood. I didn't watch that either. Orange Cassidy got the wins. I don't care. I really don't. Who gives a shit? Post-match, the heels, they stormed the ring. Babyface made the save, so it is what it is. Edge and Christian showed up and they beat up the heels. So whatever. So I'm still guessing they're probably gonna do Edge, Christian, FTR, and the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. I know right now it's going to be a tag team street fight involving Edge and Christian and FTR in a street fight I Quit match. But the Young Bucks have to be on Double or Nothing, right? They've got to be. Even though I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks because they fucking suck. But they should still be on the card for Double or Nothing. And they probably will get added to the card. So, there's that, I guess. All right, moving on from that, we get a vignette of Roosh. So, there's that. I like that. Roosh is great. Roosh kicks ass. I wish he would get more of a push. I'd love for him to be in the Continental title picture. I think that would be great. Give him something to do instead of just, rotting away on Ring of Honor and Collision. And, apparently he's been on Dynamite, 2 weeks in a row, which is great. I like that. More of Roosh, please. He's fucking awesome. Roosh kicks major ass. Moving on. This leads us into Chris Jericho. We saw a clip of the Demand beating up Chris Jericho last week. So, Renee Paquette, then she interviewed Chris Jericho, who said that he was furious and the time for talking is done. It's time to fight. Chris Jericho said that he didn't want to fight backstage, so he said he's going to take it out there to the people. So Chris Jericho went to the ring. He said he's going to keep this very simple because this is Charleston. He said he's done with the 3-on-1 beatdowns and done with the bullshit. He demanded Ricochet to come to the ring and talk to him face-to-face, one-on-one. So Ricochet showed up with the Gates of Agony. He said some words. So, one of the members, I think it was Bishop Khan, whispered something into Ricochet's ear. He proposed a signature Jericho match where he would beat him with a Rico Salt in a stadium stampede. He said the problem is the last time Jericho had to pay people to watch his back, but he couldn't get the job done. Ricochet said Chris Jericho would have to find 4 partners, and for Jericho that'd be tough because no one in AEW likes his ass. Pause. So Jericho asked Ricochet if he really wanted a stadium stampede match. Jericho said that he's sure that somebody likes him, but if he can't find partners, he'd take them all on by himself. So then he made fun of Ricochet, called him bald. Then they ended up brawling, and then the Hurt Syndicate, they came out to even the odds, so that's fine. So we're missing 4 people. So I would assume maybe the Young Bucks get added to Chris Jericho and the Hurt Syndicate. And then maybe for the heels, maybe you do Rocky Romero and somebody like that or whatever. I don't fucking know. Who gives a damn about any of this? I don't care. I don't. Moving on. This leads us into Mina Shirakawa and Hari Cameron. They talk about their tag team match coming up later on in the night. Mina gave Harley a pep talk and then ripped open Harley's t-shirt, leaving her in a brawl, which was funny. Renee Paquette said they're in store for a big fight, and then told Harley to get dressed. Okay, whatever. Moving on, Kazuchika Okada defeated the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. I'm surprised he's still there, really. I thought he may have been quietly let go. It's hard to believe that he's still there, but it is what it is at this point in time. Moving on, so Okada gets on the mic, and he says that he has something important to say. Well, no, Don Callis said that for him. Don Callis said he already has the international title, unlike Takeshita, but he wants more. Don Callis said that he's coming for the AEW. No, Okada said he's coming for the AEW World title, bitch. So, there's that. All right. Moving on, we get a vignette of Andrade El Idolo, which is great. So I like that. Good stuff there. I hope Andrade continues to get a push, because Andrade, like Rush, is amazing. Moving on from that, this leads us into Speedball Mike Bailey. He was talking to Kevin Knight backstage. He said that he's no longer a rising star. He's on the top shining bright. That being Kevin Knight. Speedball Mike Bailey said he appreciates Darby Allin being a fighting champion. He said that he'd fight him until his body gave out. And he'll make that happen tonight. Okay, whatever. That's fine. Moving on. Samoa Joe is backstage with the Ops, Anthony Bowens and Katsuyori Shibata. So Joe reiterated his offer to Ospreay. Joe said that he knows that he's destined for greatness. He asked how much of him will be left to be champion when the Death Riders are finished. Samoa Joe says with men like them by his side, there will be a lot left to him. Samoa Joe said Samoa Joe said he has Hook off making a movie and he can position Will Ospreay to succeed. He said he will extend his hand one more time, and if it's not accepted, he will replace his hand with his fist. Okay, I like that. So they might be doing a Will Ospreay Samoa Joe feud. Interesting shit there. I am actually down for that. Let's go. That would be great. Moving on. This leads us into Harley Cameron and Mina Shirakawa versus Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander. Statlander and Shida, they win. So it is what it is. I still think they're going to turn Shida heel at some point. It's just going to be a slow burn towards it, which is dumb. Just turn her heel immediately, please. Statlander, again, you guys know I don't want her to be in AEW anymore. She needs to go to either TNA or NXT. She's done all she can do in AEW. And I'm being generous when I say that, too. Moving on, this leads us into Swerve and Prince Nana. So, Swerve said he's going to go after real power, which means deciding who eats with fear and control. Swerve said there's nothing more dangerous than a man who desires power, and he wants it all. Okay, that's fun. So, apparently they're going to do Swerve and Bandito, which is great. That should be added to the Double or Nothing card. And that will probably more than likely be for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And that would be great, too. That would be really, really cool. Again, I don't see Ring of Honor getting a TV deal. However, I do think that Tony Khan should combine Collision and Ring of Honor together. I think that would be great if you do that. You know, some week feature Collision talent, some week feature Ring of Honor talent, you know, and have Collision be Ring of Honor, basically. That's what I would do. Moving on from that, this leads us into Brody King and Bandito. They were interviewed by Renee Paquette backstage. Renee asked about Swerve calling out Bandito. Bandito said he's the most wanted and he's easy to find. Brody King says it's one thing to mess with him, but if you mess with his friends, they'll be hell to pay. Okay, that's fine. Main event of the evening, Darby Allin defeats Kevin Knight to retain the AEW World Championship. This match was okay. I kind of enjoyed it. Kevin Knight did a tremendous springboard clothesline onto the announce table, which almost took Darby Allin's head off, which was insane. Darby ends up winning via a coffin drop. He did a coffin drop on the middle rope, and then he ended up doing it again for the 3 count. I don't know why it took 2 coffin drops to put away Kevin Knight, but it is what it is. So there's that. Moving on from that, Sting came to the ring. He hugged Darby, and both Darby and Kevin Knight, they shook hands, and they stood tall with Sting. Then this leads us into the third hour, which I didn't watch, except for the 5 or 10 minutes between MJF and Darby. So MJF comes out. He still wants his rematch with Darby. Darby's like, nope, I'm not going to give it to you. MJF says he doesn't want to do it, but he'll wrestle. I mean, he'll put his scarf on the line. Darby says no. So MJF says, okay, you're starting to piss me off, but I'm going to put my Dynamite diamond ring on the line. Darby says no. He says, Max, I want your hair. And then he called him a bitch. So MJF just walked away, and then that was it. So then Okada comes out, and he says that next week he's going to take on Darby for the AEW World title. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I don't know, man. Hair versus title, to me, that's dumb. You need a better stipulation than that. I don't know. I would have done, well, I really don't even know, honestly, to tell you the truth. I just think that's a dumb stipulation, right? Like, this is something that, if you watch Lucha Libre, it's common. You usually do mask versus hair, or mask versus career, or something like that, or whatever. Like, something like that would have been fine. Like, you could have had Darby versus MJF. If MJF, do a stipulation like if MJF loses, then MJF can no longer challenge for the world title as long as Darby is champion, basically. I don't know, man. But this is not a good stipulation, but it is what it is. Dynamite was just a pure shit show. Just a pure shit show. Not good, man. Not good. But it is what it is. But what did you guys think of Dynamite? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.